Welcome to another episode of Kazi Talks. We're here to discuss with friends. We keep it very casual, just founders, chatting with founders, talking about our pain points, our problems, ideation, exploring early PMF. So today we have our good friends, Jacob Friedman, and we have Jan Invisibilis.
Recurring guests, I'm sure.
Recurring characters in the story. Absolutely. Jacob, you have a few projects that you're building. I'd love for you to just briefly talk about some of the things that you're building right now.
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, thanks, Kazi, for having me on your podcast. What do we call it? A stream. So, my background is in law. I'm a lawyer for most of my career. And last year or so, I've been really focusing on, tools to help people, work better, think better, coordinate with one another better. This was always something that I struggled with in law. Like, the work is really intense, but it's also really asynchronous. So you kind of have to go into your zone, and then someone else goes into theirs. But then you kind of have to know what one another's doing. So there's a lot of email back and forth. There's a lot of messages back and forth. That problem always drove me crazy. And when I got more, in the tech world and seeing that people talk on Telegram and Discord and now Farcaster, it's like the problem is kind of everywhere. It's not just in one industry. So I've really been very excited about working on tools for messaging apps for some time. So my project Atlas that I've been started building on Farcaster to summarize threads, and more recently launched on Telegram to sort of summarize group conversations. That's pretty exciting to me just because it's really fun to build. It's really fun to use. You got to do your promo. So hit me up on Telegram at JR Friedman if you'd like to test out the Atlas Telegram application, or find me on Farcaster at JRF. But that's my spiel, and try to keep it light.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Jacob. That was very light and very to the point. Love it. And you didn't even touch on your awesome legal entity project.
Does your audience want to hear about legal technology?
This legal technology is interesting because one company just got acquired for $500 million. You could be the next one. Maybe not. maybe not. We don't know the future, right?
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so just briefly on that, and look, Antimo is also another friendly Farcaster who's helping me design that, and also with product and UX. But I have this other project called LexGen, LEXGEN. The G is capitalized, and that is really sort of rooted in my own needs to basically go from a blank page to like a pretty good first draft of legal documents. Right now there's so many tools, there's so many ways you can just pull a form off of the internet. I don't really think it's such a huge pain point for lawyers or the average person to find a legal contract or a legal document. Like 90% of the needs are met, I think. Because I was kind of like a niche practitioner, I was, a commercial litigator. The work was really complicated. I really wanted to build something in the legal tech and AI space that would actually be a tool that I would use. So I started building something to kind of take information and turn it into complaints or discovery demands. It's a very, commonly, these are terms everyone knows, but I'm not going to go into detail on them. And so tinkering a little bit, I found that I was able to get to a pretty good place. And that's when it went from, oh, this is an idea I have, this would be cool, to maybe I could actually turn this into a cool product and cool project. So brought on a new engineer who's also formerly a lawyer. I mean, I'm still a lawyer, but he's formerly a lawyer. Now he's an engineer. And so he's helping a lot, just sort of creative brainstorming, thinking about the product, thinking about all the different places we can take it. He's also a part of the Kazi, is Unfathom community now. Am I saying that
Yeah,
right?
the Unfathom community.
Okay, there we go. He's also a member of the Unfathom community, so possibly he'll join. Maybe he'll see this. Shout out Zach Freeman. And so that's an exciting project. Don't really know where it's going to go, like all projects, but excited to sort of see, the small improvements that we make here and there.
Yeah, I'm really excited about your legal tech project because it's two lawyers. Zach's still a lawyer. He's still, he's
Yeah,
technically
it's
still a
true.
lawyer.
Yeah, you're right, actually. All right. I hope he doesn't see this now.
I've
He
spoken
actually
to
is still
Zach.
practicing.
Yeah, he's still, I don't know if he's still practicing, but he is still licensed and everything. Oh, and speaking of Zach, Zach is joining the fray.
No way. No, he's jumping in right now.
Yeah, he's joining.
Love that.
Zach can now join. Awesome. Hey, Zach, how are you doing, brother? We're just
Good,
speaking
man.
about you.
Hi, Jacob. Funny seeing you here.
Only good things.
Zach, it's great to see you, man. I was going through my, intro. My intro is now, I think, 6 or 7 minutes. But I was going through my intro, and Kazi prompted me to talk about LexGen, so I gave a little bit of the project and nothing about your bio other than misstating that you were formerly a lawyer, when in fact you actually are still a lawyer, still working as a lawyer.
Technically true, but I prefer from former lawyer. That's more aspirational.
Yeah, exactly. Likewise.
One day.
Awesome. And we also have Jam here with us. Jam, if you can give a little introduction about, how you're still exploratory in startups, you're looking at different ideas.
Yeah. So I've been doing UX UI design for around 3 years now as a freelancer. The last 2 years that has been into crypto and NFTs. And right now I'm in the ideation process of starting my own startup. The startup, to quickly describe it, I would describe it as a Web3 equivalent to Patreon for creators, with a social aspect to it, and the target market is mainly VTubers. Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. The target market is mostly who? Sorry.
VTubers, virtual YouTubers.
Okay, VTubers. Gotcha. Virtual
Mhm.
YouTubers. Nice. So I'm unfamiliar with virtual YouTubers.
I was gonna say I got a dip, but I want to say Jam, ping me somehow because there might be someone I can introduce you to that's in a similar space, so I can make potentially a good connection. But I gotta run. So thanks for hosting, Kazi. Jam, good to meet you. Zach, good to see you. All right, bye.
Nice to meet you as
Zach's
well.
gonna take your place, Jacob. And
Please represent LexGen.
awesome. We're already making relationships on the call. This is great.
That's all we do. That's why we're here. All right, bye,
So,
guys.
baby. All right, take care, Jim.
Take care.
All right. So Jam, VTubers. Can you please explain that a little bit further?
VTubers.
Is it like Anon YouTubers, basically? Like people who don't show their face and they just have video clips being shown and pictures?
Yeah, it's basically still pretty new. It only arrived in 2016. And it's they have their model, so their virtual character in their screen mostly, and then they either stream or they'll talk about other stuff, and they make content that way.
Oh, that's awesome. And how far along are you with reaching out to VT? Have you spoken to some of the accounts of the YouTubers?
I've talked to a few, but I still definitely have to talk to more VTubers to get to know what their needs are. Yeah.
Do you have what's your idea of their pain point right now?
Their idea of their pain point.
Yeah, what's your idea of their pain point at the moment? Why do they need your product right now, and why you right now?
So I think there are a couple pain points, but I categorize them in three ways, basically. So not safe with like privacy and security at times, and also in terms of ownership and transparency, where they'll like with current payment systems, they have to connect to third-party apps, and they're kind of dependent on them to receive their money from their fans, and also not connected. So it's hard to establish a network as a starting creator, and yeah, also not smart, where the payment process can be kind of hard, and there are not a lot of innovative ways to monetize your content.
Interesting. And do you have any built-in network that you can access, like VTubers at scale, or that you can solve their payment processing problems? Like,
Sorry?
yeah, do you have access to, like, easy access to, let's say, VTubers? Do you just like, have you been building up your network of VTubers at all, or is it a new like idea for you?
Yeah, it's still pretty recent that I started to focus on VTubers. So I still have to establish that network.
How big is the market for VTubers, in your opinion, or like from your research?
So it's been growing pretty quickly over the last few years. Right now, I think there are around like 20,000, 25,000 VTubers around, and on YouTube they currently have 1.5 billion streams, no, viewers per month. So they have a lot of
5 billion viewers per month from the YouTube community. Wow, okay, pretty cool for like actually just 3D generated models, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
it's really interesting. Awesome. Well, Zach, thank you for joining the call, by the way. So
glad to be here.
how have things been for you, Zach? Since our last call.
Yeah, they've been really, really busy. That's why I'm like multitasking while I'm on this call. You know, I was telling Jacob, I think I got like 5 things doing every single day. So it's just, constant churn and burn. I'm applying for jobs, always fun. Then you got leak coding, 2 different projects I'm working on, including LexGen, which is the bigger of the 2 right now. And on top of that, I'm doing some legal work, unfortunately. Jen, I used to be an attorney. I'm still kind of, doing a bit of that just to, stay fresh, make some cash while I, do a more formal job hunt. But as far as LexGen goes, it's going great. I just sent over Jacob an engagement agreement. Next week I'm actually going to like write some code. I've had a lot of ideas, now I have to implement them. Always the harder part, but that's going to be fun. Spent the last 2 weeks learning Django, the framework it's built on. I knew some Python, but I didn't know any Django. So that was a fun adventure. And it's been fun.
That's awesome, man. Love to hear it. So you and Jacob are now moving into a formal agreement?
Yeah. I'm going to start getting paid. My first time getting paid for my code, which I'm pretty excited about.
Oh, love it.
Milestone.
Let's get it. Milestone right there. Like all the courses you've taken on coding, it's paid off. You've pretty much, you're in the process of successfully transitioning from an attorney to an engineer.
I'm close.
Yeah, love it.
I just need get that full-time coding job.
Mm-hmm.
And then the transition will be complete. I'll leave behind the law for good.
You'll get there. And for LexGen, have you been speaking to more lawyers or your network?
Not about that yet. I want, I'm gonna bring it up when I think we have something like freemium to show them. Like, hey, check this out. This is awesome. You can be one of the first customers and kind of the first people giving us feedback on like what will be good for you. But yeah, no, I'm excited to kind of get into the business part of the business. But first, I have to do the tech part of the business. It's tech business, after all.
Absolutely, but no reason why you can't always just hop on a phone call. It's mostly your friends that you'd be speaking with in the first place, right? It's just
friends and family. I come from a family of attorneys.
Oh, okay, flex. Let's go.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if that's a flex necessarily. Being a lawyer sounds really cool. It's not for most people, and the cool jobs don't pay.
I have many friends that are lawyers. I come from a city where it's a big industry is the legal industry. The
That makes
capital of
sense,
Canada.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, the capital of Canada, Ottawa. That's where a lot of the laws get passed. Of
Yeah, it's very tedious and monotonous, and I like to be the guy who tells lawyers what to do, and they do it. I don't have to do it.
course.
Being a client always seemed the better part of that relationship than being the lawyer.
Of course, of course. And are you struggling at all with the strategy behind LexGen, or how like other competitors are moving into the market, or are you thinking about other competitors yet? Even
I don't. Well, Jake and I were kind of talking about that a little bit today, separating ourselves. Like for example, the premium tier,
Mhm.
which, as far as I know, the other competitors don't have. But I'd like something I was telling Jacob. I think an engineering principle that's important to me. You don't ever optimize before you have an MVP. So I want to build something that works. That's kind of the general idea of what we want,
Mhm.
and then from there, make it narrower until it's like, something that differentiates us from the competition. But first, we need anything, even if it's something the competition already made. We got to build something that's our own, and then start adding some cool things to it.
yeah,
Right.
definitely. And what just to refamiliarize everyone, what's the core value for LexGen right now?
Well, so writing these legal documents takes a ton of time. So the way it works, like let's say you're writing a complaint, right? Complaint which starts off with litigation. That's what we currently have, something built out for writing a complaint. You file the complaint, that's what begins a lawsuit formally. So okay, if you're a partner, what you want is to give it to an associate, and that associate is their job is to kind of give the partner a first draft that the partner will then tear to shreds and write something new for, right?
Mhm.
So what LexGen has the potential to do in a bigger firm setting is kind of give the associate his own associate. So it gets kind of a first draft for the associate to kind of go over. So it takes them less time, less brain power, and then they can kind of put together a complaint that can pass along to the partner. Or if you're sole proprietorship, you're doing the whole thing yourself anyway, like from start to finish, it's all you. So, in that case, kind of getting any head start is an advantage because, these sole proprietors are so many clients, they're so busy all the time. So yeah, it's really a question of, saving time and mental energy. Because I was telling Jacob, a buddy of mine, another founder actually, once told me, you really only get 3 or 4 hours of like good focused work per day. And, I think to the extent you could save that, that's like a big value add that we can provide to people
Definitely.
who, are often drained and need to save their brain power for as much as they can.
Yeah, it's like how do you grow your business, right? You can grow your business in those 3 to 4 hours of productive time, or you can be doing menial like tasks that don't produce as much of an ROI, right? And that's where election can come in and help offset some of that time for them or that cost.
Exactly. And, it's just like having, been there before and written some of these documents myself, that there's like huge benefit. Even if like, because the problem with legal filings is like, it's really hard to have something generate a form that looks right. But just having really anything that has the pieces that you need on the page saves a ton of time and a ton of mental brain space. Because like if you have something, you can spot some mistakes because maybe you didn't think to tell the model something, or maybe we didn't specialize the prompt enough. You could. It saves time to edit something than to write something from nothing, right? Blank page versus something on a page.
Yeah, it's better than it gives you a starting point, right?
Exactly, it gives you a starting point.
It's awesome, man. I love hearing that. And what's your timeline like? Like when will you have something that you can show people?
Well, we kind of have something now, but I'd like to I'm kind of hoping to be able to show people stuff in the next couple of months. We haven't spoken about a specific timeline. We're kind of in the very early stages of this process, but I'm excited for that. That'll be cool when we've got something in someone's hands.
Yeah, I mean, also another reason why I'm excited for you guys is something that we spoke on our last call, Zach, which is you have earned expertise being lawyers, right?
I quoted you to Jacob actually.
Yeah, what did he say about that?
About that, he liked it. It was I think the way I described it, it was earned knowledge. I like that. But I quoted you. I cited you. You got credit for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Zach. That's a sign of a leader. It's giving credit where credit's due. Also, being generous and giving credit. It's something I personally subscribe to.
Well, in this case, it also gives me more credibility because you know a lot more about this stuff than I do.
There you go. That works. And we spoke on this too, which was how can you develop leverage around whatever you're building in the field that you are building in, right? You have a built-in network in New York City, one of the biggest legal cities out there, right? It's almost on par with Washington when it comes to just the volume of lawyers and law firms and big business, right? So that is a leverage point. The fact that you're a lawyer, your network's lawyers, your family's lawyers, that's another leverage point, right? Easy access to your client base and to get insights. One of the hardest parts of startups is to get demo calls, to justify that you're in the right direction in terms of whatever it is that you're building. So for you, that's almost trivial. So that's a huge leverage point right there. Right?
Yeah.
You don't have, Zach, you
I
don't have to go on LinkedIn and hound people down. You just say, hey, buddy, let's get on a fucking call.
I'll quote you on that too.
Hey?
I'll quote you on that too, to Jacob.
Yeah.
Points, how we have these connections because, he was also a big law attorney for a number of years and, knows people, went to the same school as I did. So yeah, connected.
That's right. You should. Awesome. Jam, I hope this call has been valuable for you, brother.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's
Yeah.
good to connect, Jam. I love meeting more people in the little community you built, Kazi.
Yeah, nice meeting you too.
And feel free to bring in more people into the community. I want to have more of these calls where we're just jamming back and forth.
Yeah, I am. The other project I'm working on, I think I told you a bit about it. It's this Dungeons and Dragons mobile app. So that's something I think I'll bring up to them because, I think with something that's really about iterative storytelling, I think that's a very obvious use case for vertical AI, given that's literally what your demo is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there are some synergies there, down the road once we are starting to kind of generate some money on this project.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, I'd love to kind of bring my other team in.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, with Unfathom, we've rebranded to Unfathom. We're using the engine from vertical AI that we built for LLMs and NPCs, as well as the ability to prototype your game with Vercel engines. So you'd be able to also build your V1 of your game quite easily with Unfathom. We can talk about that after. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to keep this call light and kind of touch on where everyone is at in the community and see where we can add value. Jam, do you have any closing remarks or questions?
No, not really.
Awesome. Well, you know where to find me on Twitter. I'm Wolf of Bay Street.
Oh, I don't have you on Twitter. I gotta add you on Twitter or X.
Yeah, hit me up.
Wolf of Bay Street.
There you go.
Oh, there you are. Kazi with a little video game controller.
That's it.
There we go.
All right, fellas, it's been a blast. You guys take care. Enjoy the rest of your week. Let's be productive. Let's get in more calls. Let's keep building and let's crush it.
Love it.
All right. Ciao, fellas.
Nice week.
Later, man.
Ciao.